102.7 KPGZ, Kearney's community radio station.
He looks to throw, looking deep downfield. He's got a receiver open. It is complete. That is Stevens for a touchdown.
The Bulldogs Radio Network proudly presents the Coach Gray Show on 102.7 FM, Kearney's hometown radio station. And now, here are the hosts of the show, Mike Davis, Jim Dickerson, and Coach Josh Gray.
It's just a very spooky Coach Gray day.
Yeah, you got it. A little fun in there, right?
I know, and that makes me hungry for Halloween candy. In fact, this is the Coach Gray Show, and it's the scary Halloween version of the Coach Gray Show. And, Coach, I'm curious, how much of your Halloween candy have you already eaten?
I haven't had any yet.
Oh, come on.
I gotta wait till it gets dark. After dark, then we can break that out and have a little candy.
I asked Jeannie, my wife, to be sure that when she on her way home that she gets more Halloween candy. Somebody already got into it. I don't know.
Not to hand out. You're gonna eat it all up.
I don't know who that was, but yeah. So here we are, the Coach Gray Show, the day before the first district game. And we play at Smithville. There's I don't think anybody in town that doesn't know that.
That's right.
Very disappointing loss last week, and one that I guess as probably one of your biggest fans, I did not expect. I didn't see a 34-0 loss coming, and by the same token, I just real quickly, because I want you to, I want to hear your thoughts on this, but you look at a score like that, and I'm not going to say this team's better than that score. Maybe not, but that's the score, and that's the way the game played out. But I still saw, and all you have to do is look at some of these stats, and you can see that there was some really good play, and I want to talk about a couple of these guys for sure. Your thoughts on the game, Coach?
Yeah, the score is what it is, and that was the game. They were better than us last week, and regardless of what that looks like, the final is the final, the W and the L, and I think that is not not how we felt about the game, and it's definitely not how the kids felt as a team. We felt we could have did a lot better than what our performance was, and that was kind of going into this week, and as we came in on, well, actually it was Friday night. After the game, we got back and had a meeting and had some good conversation, and kind of went through a few things, and then met up again obviously Saturday morning for our film, and talked about what we needed to do and what needed to happen. And one of the things that we kind of kept bringing up and being brought up was fighting through adversity. And, we've talked about that before on the show, and we've talked about it, and that's something we really kind of continue to preach and to teach about, when things don't go your way, and, there's going to be worse things that happen to them throughout their life,
Yeah, no doubt.
How do you react to that adversity? What do you do when something doesn't go your way, or, you get smacked in the face with something, whatever that may be? Mm-hmm. How do you fight through that adversity? How do you overcome that? What do you do to better yourself the next day? And how do you grow from that? And what did you learn from that situation, whatever that is? And, I think it's an agreement from the entire team, Saturday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and coming into today is, we're not giving up, and that's not our outlook on it whatsoever. And that has not been the outlook from the team. They know, and we know that there's things that we need to get better at and that we got to fix. What those are, we've identified some of those things, and I think our kids have responded really well, from them pointing them out, from us pointing out what we've got to do better. It's not just a one-way street where it's, just the kids. It's, it's what do they need different? What do they need information? What does that look like going into a week and as we prepare, and what do we need to look at fixing or getting better at? And, I think we've identified those, and, as we talked to them about going into this second season, if you will. This is game one for us. Everybody's 0-0, and how are we going to respond coming out this first game of the season? How are we going to play? What are we made of? What have we learned through this early part? The front half of the season, if you will. What have we learned from what we've done, so that we don't make those mistakes again, and how we play and how we prepare or what we do, and move on from that as we come in. And I'm tickled pink, to be honest with you, that the energy and the fire that we've got. We're very excited about moving forward and moving on from last week to this week, and it just happens to be the same team that we played last week, and our guys are focused in and ready to go for sure. I definitely believe that, and they're the senior crew has done a good job this week of getting everybody kind of rallied, if you will, for lack of a better word, and what it is that we still want to accomplish yet this year.
Yeah, I think it's there's clearly an advantage in facing the team that you just faced, because the likelihood of them, changing up a lot of their schemes is probably pretty slim. And I think both teams pretty much know what to expect from the other one. But I think to have that fresh in your mind, and to have almost a muscle memory in a sense, from if there's a team-wide muscle memory, I think there's possibility there that, we saw some really good plays, and you and I were talking about a couple of them off the air. First of all, I want to mention Jim is out today. Jim's on a flight. I wanted folks to know that Jim Dickerson is not with us today. He was, in fact, he was in Miami, and I just think I think, Brian, that's
a lot warmer in Miami
right?
than in Kearney today.
I was just thinking, what's wrong with that? Although I guess as an airline pilot, you don't get to stay in those places for very long.
That's true.
And many times you have to stay in an airport and turn around and come back, which would be brutal if you can imagine. Yeah, you get to come back to the snow. But all that to say, and thanks, Jim, for all that he does. We really appreciate him around here at this place, 102.7 FM, because he does a great job for us. But I think getting back to, what we saw, you just hate, number one, you hate a loss. You hate a lopsided score, and you really, really don't like being shut out. But all that to say, we saw Carson Frakes is our Stables 102.7 FM Player of the Week, and again, I think we overlapped. I like when we select the same ones that the coaches select. But this young man is absolutely one of the finest receivers, and he's a junior, which is nice. It means we get him back next year. And I think he's also had some really big shoes to fill for Jacob Stevens. I know Stevens hasn't been out there, as much as we'd like to see him this year. I know he's tried a couple of times, but injuries happen. But in any case, I saw, if nothing else, I saw some tremendous sideline catches at a critical time when Ian Acosta hit him in stride, hit him right where he needed to hit him. We were running low on timeouts. We were running low on time. It was fourth quarter. And there were many, many catches by Carson Frakes that were as good of a catch as you'd want to see at the high school level.
He had a great game, and that obviously getting a Player of the Week for us, and
right.
And you picked him for the Stables Player of the Week,
right?
Correct.
Thanks for mentioning our sponsor too.
Absolutely.
Well done, sir. Yes.
Yeah. He stepped up, made some nice catches, and really built on his confidence in catching the ball. And we know that that he's a very, very solid receiver for us, and does a great job. And it was good to see him, Ian and him connect and get some of those big plays that we had. And he had a really, really nice game.
Yeah, he had 5 receptions for 62 yards. That's a 12.4 average, and that's a pretty good night. You'd take that on just about anybody that you'd line up out there, and hope that you get a couple of guys to do that. That'd be terrific. While I'm here, I got Logan Ariano had 1 reception for 11 yards. That's what you like. And Carson Adams, we talked about him off the air. I want to mention this one play. He was 2 receptions for 17 yards, 8.5 yard average. But Carson Adams caught what I would call a short crossing route for a first down in the first half. Yes.
That was a big time catch.
Clutch.
Dialed in, made the catch, got hit, held on to it, and popped right up. And, that's what you want to see with your receivers.
Right. Toughness.
Wherever that is, that toughness that they've got, that grit, that little, I'm going to catch it, and whatever, transpires, that's part of the game, right? And he did, dialed in on it, caught the ball. They got the tackle, and he held on to it, and that was a great catch at a key moment for us, for sure. That was great to see. And he's really, Carson Adams has really been busting his tail, obviously, and really stepped up and has really started to shine this last couple games, and has really done a great job in practice. And it's great to see from practice to the game field, those things kind of translate and turn over to a game night, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that. He and he shows quite a bit of speed too. But it's nice to see especially against a good defense.
Right.
And you like seeing the guys. It's easy, as you say. Catch the ball, and whatever happens happens. And when you're playing against a good defense, you're going to get rocked.
Right.
I mean, at some point as a receiver, and especially crossing the middle, shallow routes.
No fear, man.
No, and
fear,
because you're likely to get hit by a linebacker. And at a place like that, and that's going to hurt. It's going to sting.
No pain.
I love the sound of that.
No pain.
Let me just say,
he popped right up and got back in the huddle, and
I know.
Next play, let's go.
I feel the pain. Let me just say. But nice job all the way around, I think, on those receiving yards. Of course, you'd like to convert some of that. You'd like to convert it to touchdowns, and
it's not what we work for.
Nope. And first downs, but that. The one play that I was just, I was able to just turn to the person sitting next to me and say, which was either Brian or Jeff, and I can't remember which one of them, but I said, more of that on that little crossing pattern, because it just absolutely got the job done.
Yeah.
And especially for a bunch of guys that were just pouring it on, and in many cases, I think crowding the box on for run defense. And why wouldn't they?
Sure.
I mean, you got a big running back like Garrett Laughlin, and I think, credit those guys on the Smithville Warriors for doing a pretty good job of holding him in, for minimal yards, I think. But let's talk about that offensive line. I think there's some things that who knows what was going wrong in there. I can't tell, and certainly it's harder for us to tell from a position of when we're sitting in the bleacher. We don't get that, the ability to look up higher and see what's going on. What talk to us about what we can do, what's possible, what happened the other night on the run.
I think a lot of it stems from obviously being a good defense, but we just got to make sure that we're executing what we're running. Whatever that is, whether that's pass pro and it's no fault of the O line. We just got to continue to get better in that, and they have. And I think on Friday we just got to make sure we're doing our assignment, and they pose some twists and some things that at times can hey, they're a good football team.
They're varsity too.
They're varsity too,
Yep.
and we just got to make sure that we're executing like we need to, and we got to make sure that what we're calling, we're doing is right scenario, and we've got to put them in the right position, and then they got to be able to execute. So it's like I said before, it's everybody's got to be on the same page with everything that we're doing, and I think we definitely got things cleaned up this week, and like I said, that kind of restored fire and what we're doing and ready to roll. And I think that O-line works their tail off during the week, and those guys do a great job, and very proud of them and their efforts and the way that they work and the way that they gel together and creating those holes and creating the protection, and they just do a fantastic job, and very proud of those guys, because they a lot of times it may not everybody's got a job to do, and to point one specific person or one specific position group, we win as a team, we lose as a team, we get better as a team, we grow as a team, and that's the way football is, and then that's the way we play it anyways, and so we got better as a team this week, and it's
you got another game.
That's right. We got another. That's the thing. You got another game. You
Right.
can't dwell on that. We can't dwell on the past. That's not the way we're going. We're going forward, and we're all rolling in the right direction. And on the energy bus, we're flying forward, all pedal down and going forward. So our guys are very, very, very fired up and ready to go and ready to perform the way we know how we can play.
Right on. And again, I just want to be very clear. We have talked all year long about how rock solid that offensive line is, and you can have a running back that's as good as Garrett Laughlin, but he's only as good as that offensive line.
That's right.
So, and I can assure you that Garrett Laughlin, in fact, I think he was one of the first kids that we had spoken with after the game. I think it was one of the very first games, very first home game. And
it was.
And one of the first things he did was compliment the offensive line and talk about how hard those guys work to open up holes that, we had talked about, driving my F-150 through. And he absolutely gave those kids credit. Right. So don't, anybody, please do not misunderstand when we talk about, a group like that, like the offensive line, and say, well, they didn't do a very good job last week. Well, I don't think that's necessarily the case. Right. And again, you look, what I saw was a really good defense that was swarming, and they were, loading up the box. And we know why. I mean, why wouldn't you do that when you see a good running back that can really, really hurt you? And we hope to see that in the future, in the very near future.
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Smithville.
Indeed. And,
be there, be loud.
Right, and I think and more cowbell, of course. We were counting on that, and I did hear the cowbells, and I think it was one of the first times I actually got to sit in the stands. Yes. And
and I think this week we have some cowbells. I believe there'll be some extra cowbells possibly available at the game. Get there early, and I think you can. Mary Beth Starr, our quarterback club president, I think, has got maybe a couple extra cowbells for some loud fans that want to get on the more cowbell action.
Get rowdy. Well, you're listening to the Coach Gray Show. We've got Coach Gray in studio with us today. It is a beautiful day in Kearney, and a little chilly, but man, the sun's out, and we're looking forward to a big football game tomorrow night. It's the district opener at Smithville. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We want to thank some of these sponsors for the Bulldog Radio Network. Stay with us.
Thank you. We appreciate the support of local underwriters like these fine businesses.
The Kearney Chamber of Commerce wants to thank you for supporting our local businesses. Kearney's friendly and authentic small-town atmosphere is created by our people and our distinctive shops, restaurants, and services. Local businesses contribute to our quality of life and to the character of Kearney. Shop local, eat local, enjoy local. It takes you to start the trend. Support the local businesses who support the area where you live, work, and play. This message sponsored by the Kearney Chamber of Commerce.
Mail-in rebates are a pain. Fill out the paperwork, and hopefully you'll get your money in 6 weeks. Kent Porter here for Porter's Building Centers with a solution to mail-in rebates. Ace Rewards from Ace Hardware. When you become a member of Ace Rewards, you'll get all the rebates instantly at the register. Plus, you'll earn points with every purchase, good for even more money-saving coupons. If you sign up today, we'll give you 1,000 free points just for joining. One more way Porter's and Ace save you money. Porter's Building Centers in Kearney. Porter's, we're here to help.
Singleton & Son is a company that's ready to help you maintain and improve your residential or commercial property. We're family owned and operated, which means we do all of our own work and we build our reputation with every job we do. Your satisfaction matters to us. Dirt and gravel, snow and ice, lawn care and landscaping, Singleton & Son is dedicated to providing Kearney and the surrounding area with quality services. For more information or an estimate, you can visit our website at singletonandson.com or call Jerry Singleton at 816-365-8220.
I'm Sean Barber, owner of Stables Local Kitchen and Patio in Kearney. Stables is a Kearney thing. We are all about our Kearney community. We love to be the place where people get together. Stables features a full menu with a scratch kitchen, offering lunch and dinner options, as well as a weekend breakfast starting at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sundays. We are big believers in keeping it local. Stables has been a proud member of the Kearney community for almost 20 years, and we are very appreciative of the ongoing support from this wonderful community. You can check us out online at stables816.com, and Stables is part of the True 816 family. Eat, drink, local.
Welcome back to the Coach Gray Show. No scary bumper music this time. No Adams Family. That scared me last time. I'm a little nervous now. But, this is the Coach Gray Show. And, by the way, Jim Dickerson is out today. It's just me and the coach and Brian Watts running the board, and he's studying something. He's making me nervous. He's looking at something like... When he does that, it's like Brian is the pilot of this radio show.
Yeah.
You never want to see the pilot nervous.
No, the mouse starts moving around a little bit, and buttons, and
we feel like, don't you feel like we need to buckle our seatbelts or something? There's a turbulence ahead. And
phenomenal job, though. Phenomenal job.
He does a terrific job. Coach, I know we don't spend too much time talking about injuries. In fact, we don't talk about injuries at all. But I did want to give credit to your trainer and help me with his name.
Owen Eisenmenger.
Eisenmenger,
yeah.
Yes. I remember we mentioned him a couple of times
the
last year.
if you will.
The Iceman. I like that better. But when you see these injuries, we saw a couple of them last week, and we've seen them throughout the season as part of the game. You're always wondering, and I was a football parent years ago, and And my son was injured a time or two, and you never know what's going on. It's the worst thing a parent can imagine, and hopefully it's not serious. How much do you count on a trainer to sort of take all of the worry away from anybody who might be concerned about one of these kids that's down for a minute or two?
First off, Owen does a phenomenal job. He is. We are very lucky to have him in the Kearney School District. He does, and so to give a little background on Owen, he not only does he just work with the sports, he goes to, if there's something going on at another school, whether that's elementary school, whether that's a middle school, the junior high, wherever that may be, if he gets news or finds out about somebody that, gets injured or in whatever that may look like, he is on top of it, and he's right there. He is, very, very knowledgeable. He's almost like having a doctor in the school, to be honest with you. He does just a great job of diagnosing things and getting players or athletes or whoever that may be lined up with maybe a doctor to get, examined further or tested or whatever that looks like for somebody's injury. And the thing with Owen is, he cares. He cares, and it's not just whatever. I'm just the trainer, and that's all I care about is making sure. He literally is like having he's like a teacher, a coach. He's there. He cares. He cares about the kids. He builds relationships with the kids that he comes in contact with, and has a great spirit, and just does. He's good for the district, good for the kids. He's good for obviously for us, and have full faith in everything that he says and does. And he's, if he's given a diagnosis with an injury, he knows how to manage it. He is spot on managing it.
Yeah.
And hey, you need to go get a doctor to make sure this is what we're thinking. And, he's spot on with what he's doing and just does a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I think modern medicine, particularly in sports, there is a practical aspect to treatment and not necessarily diagnosis. I know, listen, nobody's expecting anybody to be, actually to practice medicine on the field if you're not at the training. Let's just say,
we've got phenomenal doctors on our sideline as well.
Yeah.
So
but by the same token, I mean, I think there are throughout medicine, I think there are practical nursing positions and folks that are in the medical field who are not, they don't have DR in front of their name, who are providing a service for all manner of consumers and folks that and clearly in sports.
Yeah.
And thank goodness for that. Especially in a sport like football, where you expect a bump or a bruise or a knock every once in a while.
He does a phenomenal job.
Sure does. Yeah. And I know last year when we talked about him, he has done his training runs pretty deep, as I recall. And forgive me, Owen, for not remembering, but nicely done, sir. That's all. So but we appreciate it and we see it. And I just want to make sure to give him a mention and a shout out.
Yeah.
It's
well deserved.
Right. And then, of course, the patient has to, be agreeable too. You have to go to whatever he says.
Right. And that's what you got to do.
You want to get better. And
sometimes that's a nice cold ice bath.
Ooh.
Sometimes they like when they get the heat baths.
Right.
Ice
bath doesn't sound so good.
Maybe not today.
Yes, exactly. All right, getting back to, I did want to cover a couple of these other guys on, certainly on, running and rushing yards. Carson Frakes, we talked about, and these are all-purpose yards that, let's just talk about those. And we talked about Logan Ariano, and let's talk about Ian Acosta. Here we go. He had 90 passing yards and 18 rushing yards for a total of 108. He did a pretty nice job, and we talked about how well he did, certainly as he was throwing to Carson Frakes there toward the end, and Carson Adams, and and others. And so there were some turnovers. You got to, you got to own those, but you can never blame a turnover on one side. Somebody's got to throw it, somebody's got to catch it, somebody's got to be in the right place to catch it. There are all kinds of things that happen that makes it's not like playing catch in the backyard.
Right.
So the heat is off from my perspective for Ian Acosta, buddy. Yeah, I saw you out there playing hard, and that's what counts.
And go ahead and finish.
Well, and he had some decent numbers here. So
and he does a good job, and he's maturing and he's growing, and we just gotta continue to put him in the right position, and execution is key. But we have all the faith in the world in Ian, and he's done a great job of growing throughout this year and yet to come. So he's ready to roll, and he's ready to go again for Friday, and he does a good job of staying composed back there, and and trusting the O-line and stepping up and making sure we're looking to execute. And there's always going to be, and again, kind of go back, not to reiterate what I said, but there's always going to be things that aren't, we're not asking for perfection. The perfection we're asking for is the effort, and that effort will turn into good things. And we just got to learn from those the things the mistakes that we make, or whatever the growth moments, if you will, and continue to improve ourselves. And he's done that, and I'm excited again, just like every Friday, to see us come out and to show how far we've come and where we're going and what that looks like. And he's got a lot of confidence in himself, and the team has a lot of confidence around him. He's a heck of an athlete.
Yeah, that shows certainly his ability to run the ball, and we've talked about it on numerous occasions. in other games. He does a terrific job of tucking the ball away if he has to, and then on many the run pass option type play,
right?
Where I've he can do either one, and he's at. In fact, I think we talked about him last week, where he said he's the guy.
Shifty.
Yeah, that you want to say that I'm glad he's on our team.
That's right,
because you have to account for a quarterback's ability to be able to not just throw the ball, but to absolutely turn on the jets and run it. We've seen him do it.
And he does a great job, and if he is outside of the pocket, of making plays on his own in that manner, and able to pick up a first down and able to get some yardage that way, and a lot of things with him that for him we don't want to try to put too much on him. With any at any position, you want to make sure that we're putting him in the right position, and I think we've done a good job of doing that, and he's understood that he's got 10 other guys behind him as well, and to make sure we're understanding what we need to do.
How do you keep a kid who's competitive? And I think I know the answer to this, but I want to hear you say it.
See if I get this question correct.
Well,
right?
Look, it's so easy, particularly if the score is starting to get a little one-sided. Competitive people want to take control of that. That you want to say, okay, I got this. Let me handle this. How do you contain that in a kid? And I'm just going to use Ian Acosta as an example. I'm not saying he's trying to, carry the entire team on his back or anything like that. Don't misunderstand me. But I could see with a competitive guy like that, he's going to want to say, I'm just going to run it. I'll just run this time, because that way I'll at least get the first down or whatever. How do you sort of fight the urge in a competitive athlete to not try and put the team on his shoulders?
Yeah, you don't want to, in that situation with a younger quarterback, you don't want to overload him too much. You don't want to take away that competitive edge,
right?
Because you want competitors out there. You want them to do what they can, and so for us, it's about kind of, I don't want to say compromise, but you're kind of a balance of both. Go be a competitor. But you don't have to put the team on your back. There's 10 other dudes out there on the field with you. But do what you do your job and execute what we're asking you to do. And, and he does a good job of understanding what that looks like. And, but as a competitor, you want to go out and compete, and you want to,
well, don't you?
That's football, that's athletics. That's anything that you're doing, not even necessarily just athletics, but you want to go compete to be a better you, and you want to, he doesn't have anything to prove. He's the man. He's the dude. And,
right.
Just
you the man.
Yeah.
No, you the man.
That's right.
So yeah, absolutely. Anyway, nice job by him.
Yeah.
And he's been really fun to watch this year, and we've had just a great time. When you get to see this thing unfold in front of you, and like you've heard me talk about before, when Jim makes the call, he does just a great job of painting the picture of people who don't get to see it, and you're just listening to it on radio, and how often have we said, Ian Acosta has done something just magical.
Right.
And for plenty of scores and plenty of touchdowns. And all of those accolades will come much later in the season, we hope. One of the things I wanted to get to today, Coach, it's we've got time to do this, and we haven't spent much time. You've mentioned throughout the season, as you and I have talked together with Jim, your assistant coaches. And one of the things that I noticed, I'd love to talk about these guys. That's where I'm going with this. I look at these guys on it's KMOfootball.com, right? Did I have that right, Brian? Kearney Bulldog Football.com. Yep. Right. Okay. Up on the tab, it says KMO Football. In any case, it has a tab for coaches. And if we've got just a little bit of time here left, I'd like to just maybe talk about these guys just briefly, if you can. I see the first one is Caleb Diefenbach, and he's your O coordinator and quarterbacks coach.
Yeah.
By the way, one of the things I noticed on many of these pictures is right below their description here, Brian's got it up on the screen, is they have families. Now, these guys have all said, you know what, I want to help. I'm raising my hand. I want to be a part of this. And they knew going in that this was going to be a very time-consuming endeavor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a job.
It is. It's we expect a lot of ourselves, and, I think a shout out needs to go to all the wives and significant others, and the rest of the families. The sons and daughters. The time it takes and the time that we spend is a lot. I ask a lot of them, and I think that's important. I think if we're going to do something, we need to do it right and not leave a stone unturned. And all that takes time to dissect film, to put a plan together, the game plan together, and you'll see the trucks up at the school all day Saturday and on Sunday, and it's a 7-day a week job.
Sure
and,
is.
I think with that being said, it's a very time consuming, and the significant others give up a lot.
It is
for
a
their
sacrifice,
husbands.
right?
They give up a lot and sacrifice a lot for their husbands and their families to allow them to do something that they're very passionate about, care about, and that's an important piece. And Coach Diefenbach, does a great job. He's been with us now for a while, and he it is the things that he's got a very inventive mind. I think there's, as we try and look of where we're, trying to get our playmakers to put in position and our, offensively to move the ball and to do things, does a great job with a lot of it. And I think with all of our guys and with Coach D leading the way on offense, it really does a good job with enthusiasm, getting the kids fired up, and that's all of our assistants. To be honest with you, we meet early, and then that enthusiasm comes from the coaching staff, and that's a piece that's part of the job to bring that enthusiasm and flying around on the field just like the kids are, and it's infectious, and he does a great job of doing that, and it shows.
We hear it from the kids. They always mention their position and team coaches, as we interview them. Chris Daniels, your special forces coordinator and outside linebackers coaches. Oh, he's got some good kids to coach, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gets the best of the best. You're pulling from from the whole team for the six special teams, six special forces teams. That's kind of a tongue twister there.
You did it.
Does a phenomenal job, and he's very meticulous. Very, I think a lot of times special forces get overlooked. They get overlooked maybe from some other team, not all of them, but we pride ourselves in great detail of dissecting and making sure we're getting our kids in the right position on all of our special teams units, and
you score points on special teams.
Yeah, and it's such a big play at that particular moment. Whether you're punting, kicking, receive, whatever that looks like.
Yep.
It's such a big play at that particular moment because the tides can turn, and we want to be able to use that momentum and that energy from whatever that down was, whatever that was, to bring it back. And he does a great job of dissecting every unit and getting our kids in the right position. And he is very meticulous in that, and all the coordinators and the other assistants and everybody does a great job, but he does a great job with that for sure.
He played football at Drake University. He's got a master's degree from Emporia State University, so he's good.
Yes.
Offensive
coordinator. Coach Brinkley's down on the field with the defense.
Okay, there it is.
Yes,
because I was just looking at his picture. I was going, no, that's not him. So that's who we were seeing. In any case, Coach Brinkley, inside linebackers and
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and he was at one season at Winnetonka, so it's funny. You see this little kind of the roadmap of their careers is real interesting to look at too. We don't have time, but I highly recommend folks go to this website and read up on these guys because they've got really, really neat backgrounds. Yeah.
Coach Brinkley came in this year, and he got hired, and he's been doing a great job with the defense. Has brought a lot of energy, what you want on defense, brought some swag, if you will, and has done a great job of getting those guys lined out and lined up, and very knowledgeable, and brings, it's funny. For me, I feel like I'm like, well, I shouldn't say I think I'm the older of I don't want to put my age out there.
Listen,
but,
it gets
but
worse.
Yeah,
and it happens quickly.
I'm like the old guy now on staff, and I remember when I was a younger dude, and it's kind of weird to say, but these guys that are in their upper 20s and low 30s, and I'm like, dang, I guess I'm in my.
We all think we're still 35.
That's right.
I'm not.
That's right. That's right.
We're getting ready to take a break. Let's come back and talk about the coaching staff. This is a lot of fun because I think we needed to do this all year. We just don't have time. You're listening to the Coach Gray Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Say thank you to these local underwriters who support KPGZ.
Since opening our doors, TDR Auto Plaza has made major changes with a full-service department open to the public, and we have brought in more late model and low-mileage trucks and cars for our customers. We know there's a lot of places you can buy a vehicle, but we're your hometown dealership, and we're there for you when you need us most. We've been helping our neighbors drive dependable vehicles and save money year after year. TDR Auto Plaza, 801 North Country Avenue in Kearney. The phone number is 816-903-3300. TDR, your hometown dealer, changing the way used cars are sold.
So we really want Porter's Kearney Body Shop to be your true neighborhood body shop.
Yeah, but most people have heard that before. What's different about Porter's?
Your vehicle is a big investment. We know that. When something needs fixing, you want to know it's going to be done right and that you're getting the right deal too.
So how do I know Porter's is more than just words?
You'll get neighborhood service because we are your neighbors. Whatever the make or model, our job is to keep you on the road, not in the shop.
Porter's Kearney Body Shop, 104 West Main Street in Kearney, 816-628-5621. Porter's, where customers have been driving away happy since 1982. Football players know linemen are vital to the team. We know that too. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative's mission is to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. And a vital part of our team working to make this happen includes our dedicated linemen. From building new lines and services to restoring your power, even in the worst storm conditions, our trained linemen are vital to the success of your cooperative. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative. For more information about our services, you can visit us online at www.pcec.coop.
And you're back on the Coach Gray Show, the only show in Kearney, Missouri, where the star of the show plays air drums. Yes, Coach Gray just you did a little drum roll. It wasn't quite the up to the Jim Dickerson standard.
Jim wasn't here doing the air drums like he normally is. We're kind of missing you, Jim.
Let me tell you, man, this is something special. There's not another. You know what? There's not another radio show in the state of Missouri that has the coach on the air. Not necessarily when you were doing your little drum roll there, but that was pretty cool. So we got something special here. We're talking about the coaching staff because I wanted to, and I think these guys deserve a big fat shout out from this program. Brad Kohlauer is your safeties coach. Let's talk about him.
Yeah, Coach Kohlauer has been around for a while, and we moved up a couple years ago. And has done a great job. He brings a wealth of knowledge to us. Coach Dan, going back, Coach Daniels has been a head coach. Coach Kohlauer has been a head coach. So we've got some guys with some background and some knowledge. And Coach Kohlauer does a great job. All these guys do a great job with relating to the kids and building those relationships. And that's a big piece of what coaching is building I feel our culture is got a great culture, and that's a part of the coaching staff and the time that they spend and willing to do, and the extra effort and the extra little things. And Coach Kohlauer does a great job.
Yeah, I think, man, I would love to just read through this, but we just don't have time. And if we want to cover these other guys, but again, I recommend highly to all of our listeners, if you get it a few minutes later today, go to the Kearney Bulldog Football.com website, and Mindy Gray is in charge of that website, and she does a terrific job. And just go down the coaches tab and read the backgrounds on these guys. And you think, yeah, anybody, I can go in there and coach this game. I understand football. Yeah, look at the backgrounds on these guys and tell me about it. And I'll guarantee you, they have an amazing coaching background. I mean, to a person, every one of these guys.
Yeah.
It's impressive. Steve
Backus,
yes. Yeah,
our O-line coach.
There he is right there. And that guy is he's in his third year. So was he the O-line coach from
no, he became
your third year.
Right. He became our he was actually our running backs coach to start when we first hired him on, and moved to the O-line 2 years or 2 years ago. And Coach Backus has got, and I'm going to say this over and over, has got a lot of energy, and the things and his vast knowledge of the O-line crew, and he's a very demanding coach, just like we are. We coach hard, but that's how we are, and I think that's a piece I think that our guys understand, that we're going to coach them up hard, we're going to love them hard, and we're going to get on them because we want them to be better. We see where they're able, where they're going to be, not where they are now, but what they can be, and so we coach them up hard, and love them the same way, and I think that's the kind of a good balance, and our kids really and our O-line guys really take to Coach Backus.
I think you just described parenting skills, and that's
tough love. Sometimes it's tough love,
as we all know as parents. None of that comes easy, and a lot of it is on the job training. So, but again, just terrific background there on Coach Backus and Bryant Hummel. Let's talk about him.
Yeah, Bryant. He is. You want to talk about workers, and he is very knowledgeable. He coaches our defensive line. Does a great job with those kids, and those front three that we've talked about all year. That's a lot to do with him, and just does a great job with them, and brings that energy and brings a vast knowledge of D-line play. He played at Northwest. He was a linebacker, fullback, and
I see
kind
that.
of a jack of all trades, if you will. And did some was a head coach at some 8-man football up in Northwest Missouri, and again, a guy that works his tail off, and and that's with all of the coaches. It's always, what can I do? What do I need to do to help? What can I without the assistant coaches, we aren't. They do a lot of work, and I'm very appreciative of them and the time that they spend, and willing to separate themselves from their families on a Saturday, and the coordinators on a Sunday with me, and going through game plans and going through stuff, and
not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not, and it's a testament to their dedication and their passion for the game.
But let me just, Chris Rooney, the running backs coach. I have to tell you this. I mean, I can't help myself here. Chris came to Kearney after spending 18 years at Sioux City West High School, Winnetonka High School, Liberty North High School, Van Horn High School, and Odessa High School. Now, and not to mention his collegiate background. That's a guy that's been around. He has seen some football.
Yep, he has. And, he's found a home here, and he does a great job. I think with Coach Rooney, he's kind of, when he's coaching, he's very down to earth. If that's
it's what you want.
He relates so well with those, with the running backs, and brings obviously a vast knowledge to the game, and for us, does a phenomenal job, and is another great to have on staff.
Right, and has a master's in special education from Morningside College in Iowa, and really great training. I mean, these guys are such terrific educators too, which I think is another thing that.
Yeah, you find a good teacher, you find a good coach.
Exactly.
Coaching is teaching, teaching's coaching, and you find a good teacher, you find a good coach, and they all do a great job of that.
Yep. I mentioned this, a nice Irish name here, Michael Kelly, wide receivers coach. What about that guy?
We've, he got hired last year. We hired him and has done a great job of learning and of what we do and bringing in knowledge. He's originally from the area and then was in North Carolina and came back and we were able to snag him up and has done a great job of leading that wide receiving crew and does a fantastic job.
All right, we've got Brian says we've got 5 minutes left and we've got 6 more coaches to talk about. Let's be brief, but don't hurry.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. And Tanner
Wendell.
Yes. You corrected Coach me twice already, and I almost did it again. Tanner Wendell.
Coach Wendell is a Kearney grad.
There you go.
Graduated, was part of the 09 state team, and we were lucky to get him a couple years ago, and then he moved up to the varsity staff this year and has done a great job. Obviously knows how the program runs and has a lot of he's got a lot of invested time in here, being from Kearney, playing at Kearney, and brings a lot of passion and has done a fantastic job.
Yeah, Brock Broughton, your running back.
Another Kearney grad, was a phenomenal running back for us, and went on and played college ball at Western Illinois, then transferred to Mo West, and it's great to have a guy that played the position and has done a great job with our running backs as well. Coach Rooney works with our fullbacks and running backs, and Coach Broughton works with the running backs and does a phenomenal job of he's fresh out of school and has a great perspective on the game from just finishing playing up and knowing how the game is and does a great job of coaching. Has done a phenomenal job for his first year coming in and coaching up those running backs.
Played college ball at Western Illinois University and finished his college career at Missouri Western. So he's been around the block. J.L. Hickman is the freshman head coach.
Yeah, Coach Hickman's been here at Kearney for a long time and has done a great job being our freshman head coach. And again, bringing a lot of energy and getting those young guys lined out. Same thing with the rest of the freshman staff. Coach Swall coaches the offensive line and D-line. Coach Deem is a new hire for us this year with another young coach who has done a great job in not only learning what we do, but just learning coaching and getting his feet wet, and has done a great job of coaching those younger kids. And Coach Funk, another Kearney grad,
I see that,
who's been coaching with us and been at the freshman level. And those guys, those 4 guys that I just mentioned there, have a tremendous task at hand in getting the younger kids bought into playing the way we play and learning the game and having fun and learning what it means to be a Bulldog football player and getting those guys, chomping at the bit to move on up and to go through the program and do a phenomenal job at the freshman positions.
Right. Tyler Funk was, as former Bulldog football player, Coach Funk was named first team All-State defensive back.
Yeah.
Was a member of both the 2009 state championship team in football and basketball, and was named All-Conference in the Suburban Small Division all 3 years of high school. Now that's really something.
Yeah.
I mean,
he went up to Northwest and played basketball at Northwest Missouri State, so he knows a thing or two about competing.
I see terrific athletes. I see guys with impressive academic credentials, and certainly the teaching portion, as you mentioned, is all there. It's when you watch this team tomorrow night, think about these guys. I mean, I challenge everybody to watch this team. Think about these guys who are coaching them and where these kids are, and you really do see the influence. I see the influence from some of these track guys, and I read through these as you were talking, and I mean, there's a ton of track guys in here. Which I'm looking at this team, and we talk about how fast this team is, and multi-sport athletes, guys that are playing different wrestling and basketball and baseball, and there's you got track guys, as we said, but hats off to all of them, to every single one of you guys, and to your families for the sacrifices that you make for a thing that you love to do. But I think in the long run will pay out for these kids, no doubt. In my mind.
And that's a good thing. As the process rolls through, as we go, and it says a lot about the Kearney School District. I think we have a phenomenal school district that's from the top leadership, all the way down, in this community. It's such a great community and a great district, not only to work for, but I had a son who graduated from Kearney. I've got one obviously right now in the district as a 7th grader. And the leadership, the administration, the teachers, to the custodial staff, to the cooks, to everybody who's a part of the district, it's such a phenomenal district because everybody cares, and that's the key piece, I think, right, is that the district cares, and the workers over at central office care, and they hire the right people, and they get people and put them in the right positions, and the community supports the district. The community supports, whatever that's whatever activity that may be involved, whether that's from an elementary activity to a high school activity. The community really cares about the school, and the school is a big hub, if you will, of the town and the whole community of the Kearney Community School District.
Absolutely well spoken, Coach, and we see it. And I'll tell you what, you want to support this team, you want to support this community, get out there tomorrow night, and let's ring them bells. And
that's right.
More cowbell.
More cowbell, baby.
And get out there and yell for this team, because I think you're going to see a whole lot better performance tomorrow night. I'm just saying. You've been listening to the Coach Gray Show. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to all of our sponsors. We appreciate you for supporting the Bulldog Radio Network. Coach, good luck tomorrow night. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you much. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you next week.